Hello everyone, I'm George from Ireland, and so outside Liverpool Metropolitan Cathedral, which is the Catholic cathedral in this city. So it's just up Hope Street from the Anglican cathedral, and there were two bishops of Liverpool in the 70s and 80s. The Catholic one was Derek Warlock, the Anglican one was David Shepherd, and they got on famously well together. And there's a statue of them halfway down Hope Street, which I'm not going to walk. So they both, so this is Hope Street behind me. They both protested against the Thatcher government, which they thought was dreadful for Liverpool, immoral, and was not looking after the poor sufficiently. An open top sightseeing bus. So anyway, here's the cathedral again. Paddy's Wigwam, as it's commonly called. So obviously England was a Catholic country for centuries, till about 1533, the break with Rome, returning to Roman Catholicism under Mary Tudor, 1553 to 58, and then Anglicanism was reintroduced. But so more Catholics managed to hang on in northern England than in southern England, just because governmental control was feebler the further one went from London. But nevertheless, Catholics were a small minority, even in Liverpool, until the 19th century, when there was significant transmigration. Lots of Irish people came to Liverpool, and of course about 70% of us are Catholics, and it tended to be poorer people who emigrated. So the Catholic population of Liverpool burgeoned, and from the 1850s there was talk of building a Catholic cathedral. So a lady chapel was built with the idea of expanding that into a cathedral, but soon that was repurposed for educational use. And then it got to the 1960s, so we really have to do something about it. There have been various plans. So we know Giles Gilbert Scott built the one up the street. Well, his brother, Adrian Gilbert Scott, was commissioned to design the Catholic one. Was this meant to be some sort of riposte? Anyway, that plan was ditched. Edwin Lutyens, the very celebrated architect who designed New Delhi, he built it, and it was suggesting a vast cathedral, but of course it was monstrously expensive. So eventually that had to be aborted, not something Catholics are supposed to do. And I can't remember who actually designed this one in the end, but we really beat the Anglicans by, what was that brick shouting? In 1962, starting construction and finishing in over 5 years. So it's got a crypt. It can accommodate 3,000 worshippers. Usually there are only 2,000, because if you've got 3,000, you can't see the altar from all points. So the Pope visited in 1982 on his state visit to the United Kingdom. Well, he didn't go to Northern Ireland, unfortunately, even though loyalist terrorists said they wouldn't try and bump him off. And it's a focal point for worship and many famous occasions, many lugubrious occasions, commemoration of various disasters, like the Highgate disaster, that sort of Sheffield Wednesday Liverpool match, which ended in a catastrophe. Tragedies like the Heysel Stadium disaster. And so there it is. What do you think of that? What's your take on that? Modern architecture, 60s architecture? Has it stood the test of time? I think it's actually not bad for the era, which most people think is dropping. So I can't remember its vital statistics. It's fairly large, very close to the University of Liverpool, which is sort of behind it, slightly up the hill, the main campus. So it's the Metropolitan Cathedral of Christ the King. Obviously, religiosity has dropped off in recent decades, so it wouldn't be packed very often. I've got a fabulous choir. Songs of praise has been sung from there. Cherie Blair, as in that's Miss Booth, Tony Blair's wife, the barrister. She used to worship there. Anyway, so that's been enough from me. So thank you so much for your donations. Your liberality is all appreciated. Kind of keep them going. So George Callahan79 @gmail.com, PayPal.